Moments that caused chaos on paternity court.
Do for y'all. You done tried. Yes, sir. When I did try. When I did. No, you did. Wait a minute, y'all love me. When I can do something for y'all, then y'all always, then y'all stand in the back.
Oh, y'all just don't stop running your mouth.
He needs to go.
But it hurts my children.
I am miserable as hell. 8 years. I'm tired of this.
3 fathers are in the paternity run of this baby, but baby mama has made her pick.
Ms. Holman, you claim he denies fathering your 2-month-old daughter, Alani. You want today's results prove he is the father. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Drumgold, you know Ms. Holman was sleeping with 2 other men at the time of conception. Either of those 2 men could be Alani's father. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the guy at the defendant's podium did not gloss over his denial at all.
Are you denying this, baby?
Yes.
Mr. Drumgold, you are not in any way accepting of Alani?
No, I'm not. It's been incident that I know and 2 other gentlemen that I know during the time that she supposed to had Alani that she was dealing with.
Whereas their equation was something like this.
Mr. Drumgold, how did you find out Ms. Holman was pregnant?
She called me one day and she said that she was pregnant.
You had doubt immediately?
Yes.
Was it just about the phone call or was it just doubt in general?
No, it was about phone calls. It was, I knew it was more gentlemen that she was messing with.
More gentlemen?
Yes.
Ms. Holman herself had told Mr. Drumgold about the other man.
He knew I was dealing with other men because I was very honest with Robert, Mr. Drumgold, up front. I was super honest with him, and I told him, like, I'm doing me, you doing you, because I know how you get down, period. When I was all in for it with him, he was not wanting no parts of me, but parts of me.
Your
All
Honor.
right?
By now, the judge believed it was time to question the second potential father.
Mr. Rich, thank you for joining us. Did you have a sexual relationship with her, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. We met at a party back in 2016. She gave me a lap dance and we ended up having sex.
You're still in a sexual relationship now?
Yes, ma'am.
And so what kind of relationship have you built with Alani?
I built a father-daughter relationship with her.
You have?
Yes, Your Honor.
He confessed his love for Ms. Holman and for the child.
I still had love for this woman. After Alani was born, when I really fell in love with that child and made up my mind I was gonna be there.
Why would you even tell me? There ain't no possibility that it could be nobody else's. If he wasn't in the picture, then
Y'all,
why is he here?
I asked Rich to come back. I knew that Rich wasn't the father, but I knew that he would be there for me. I knew he loved me. In spite of everything I've ever put him through, Rich has always loved me.
This statement caused a squabble between Ms. Holman and Mr. Drumgold.
Now, it ain't about being a petty female.
It is about being a petty
It's about
female.
telling the
It
truth
is about
when you
being-
ain't.
At the end of
It's
the day,
about
you
telling
lied
the truth
too.
when you
Let's
don't.
get some
It's about
order.
telling the
Fix
truth
it
when
now.
you
I'm
don't.
here today
Some
to fix
order,
it
Ms.
now.
Holman.
What are you doing?
She's sitting here saying that I wasn't there for her. I was there for her whole pregnancy.
Wow,
No,
when?
we didn't spend every day together.
He lied.
Nah, we didn't.
And this led to poor Mr. Rich reacting like this.
A person that you keep calling to come over my house.
Of course, because you got great sex.
Huh?
What the word? I don't have nothing to do with nothing.
Really?
That's only when me and him break up.
Right there, bro. Out this
Mr. Rich,
Go back up.
you came here to get an answer.
I have not called him lately.
I don't care, man.
I mean, hey, my phone tells it all.
Now, let's get the third father in the courtroom.
I met her through Facebook. We hung out and we clicked, and then down 4, we had sexual relationships.
And so you've had an ongoing sexual relationship with Ms. Holman for the past 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And you believe you could be Alani's biological father?
Yes, ma'am. And I was taking her to a couple of her doctor's appointments for the baby.
So you also are in love with Ms. Holman?
To a certain extent, yeah.
The deteriorated situation brought the judge to the verge of crying.
You gotta look in the mirror every morning and say, I am worth it. You have to tell yourself, you have to encourage yourself. You're not the only woman out here in the fight. I slept with this guy on Thursday. You still worth it. I slept with this guy on Friday. You still worth it. I lied to this guy on Sunday. You still worth it.
So let's break these people free from this emotional chaos.
Mr. Rich is not the father. The next result is for Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews, you are not the father. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
A young woman suffering from cancer has another pain killing her, and a DNA test is the only cure.
Today you come come to our court after a very difficult journey and some grave health issues. In your statement, you say you believe that Mr. Froyo is your father, and he has denied you since you were a little girl, even though he signed your birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
You are seeking results of a paternity test to prove that he is indeed your biological father.
The denial was affecting Miss Dixon like this.
He says he's not my dad, but he'll be there for me. I don't need a charity case. You know, if he's not my dad, he's not my dad. But if he is, I'd like him to know, like, I've been through so much. My grandmother passed away, his mother, in '98. At the funeral, he told me my tears weren't needed because it wasn't my grandmother. I was 10. He told me when I was about 15 that a man named Tom Ashley was my father.
Mr. Froyo explained his rejection like this.
She was about 6 or 7 years old. I had contacted her mother, which is to the right of her right now, and asked if I could take her out for her birthday and buy her stuff. Unquote, over the phone, you're not seeing her.
Oh, no, that is not true.
Miss Waldeby testified other reasons for the denial.
He denies her because she was a girl.
I have an older daughter, I have an older son, and I have a younger daughter. I don't deny anything.
He tattooed my name on his arm. Like he said he's got older children. All 4 of us are in a row, from oldest to youngest. My name's on his arm.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Tattoo and denial do go along, do they?
Her name on your arm if you didn't believe she was yours.
Up till 5 years ago, Your Honor.
Are you serious right
You
now?
denied me in '98.
Let me ask you, why does Samantha have Dixon for her last name if I am true her biological father and it's not my last name?
He asked me at the hospital, do not put Froyo on there because it would upset his mother. Don't play that.
But this negation wasn't that plain.
And he denied me when I was 8. He denied me when I was 15. He denied me again when I was 17. Now it's when I was 20. I just want to know that he doesn't need to be my dad to feel sorry for me. I don't need no one to feel sorry for me. I battled cancer for 6 years by myself with nobody there. He's lost his mother to cancer. You would think being that if you thought I was your daughter, why wouldn't you want to be there?
And the whole thing got initiated after a new girlfriend came into the picture.
And then I disrespected her and I went up one side of her and down another, and he told me never to call him again because he's not going to have anybody acting like that. But you know what? How many times am I supposed to be hurt?
Did you say to her, directly to her, like, don't call me anymore because you're not my daughter?
Nope.
When you were at your mother's funeral, did you also say that
my tears weren't needed because she wasn't my grandma?
I did not say that.
You didn't say that?
No, ma'am.
Listening to this, the judge tried to sum up Miss Dixon's side of the story.
I am seeing constantly this young woman reaching out to you, despite you denying her, despite you.
At lunch, he told me that he wasn't my father, which is why I'm here today, because I don't need a sympathy and I don't need a charity case. I just want to know that this next battle of cancer that I'm facing, he doesn't have to come up to my funeral for sympathy. He'll come because he knows.
However, the alleged father had no ounce of sympathy.
Well, I submit to you today that it is both. Because if you don't have a level of sympathy as a father and as a potential father, you should be able to have sympathy and empathy about the question she has concerning her paternity. That's how it's connected.
After this, the other daughter was brought into the courtroom, who claimed that Mr. Froyo only wanted a son.
My mom left him when I was forced to go. I have a brother, we have the same mom and dad. In order for him to take my brother, he had to take me. Did he want to take me? No, my mom made him take me. And yes, we used to go to Patty's house when my dad was with her. He wasn't always there, we were there with Patty. To me, it was a girl thing. I have 3 boys. He did not want nothing to do with me until I had my first son.
Well, we've seen enough. Let's jump to a conclusion.
In the case of Dixon versus Froyo, when it comes to Samantha Ashley Dixon, Mr. Froyo, you are her father.
Told you.
Sorry, baby.
Mr. Brown is losing his daughter because her mother claims someone else is the father.
Mr. Brown, you say you have always believed you were the biological father of Jaira Lever, but now the defendant is denying you are Jaira's dad. You are hoping today's results prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lever, you say you are positive the plaintiff is not your daughter's biological father and plan to prove it in court today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But Miss Lever was sure that Jaira was not Mr. Brown's. adults.
He is not biologically her father. During the time that she was conceived, he wasn't really even around, and I had been with my ex. I just know.
So did you allow him to believe he was her biological father?
No. I always told Mr. Brown that he was not her father.
Did she always tell you that, Mr. Brown?
Not in the beginning, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown was not ready to buy all of this at all.
See how she had the time or the opportunity to be with anyone else.
So you all had a real relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, we did have a relationship, but our relationship has been pretty much rocky throughout the course of the 8 years.
It has?
Yes, ma'am.
Her exhibit to show how it all went down.
My ex and I, we were intimate at the hospital during that time.
How do you have sex in a busy hospital?
We basically bonded, and...
Was this a one-time thing with your ex in the hospital, or did this continue?
No, it was a one-time thing, but...
We were intimate maybe the whole time I was there.
He is not her father.
Judge asked for the birth certificate to see who was listed as the father.
This birth certificate does say Jaira Irie Monet Lever. There is no Brown on the birth certificate.
Ask her, did she not tell my family Jaira's last name was Brown?
Did you do that, Miss Lever?
I roll with it, whatever. He called her Brown, say that, but that is not her name.
Well, Jaira is not the only child in question.
You have a second child who's in question.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Yes.
We were still intimate. When she first got her car, she bought a brand new Camaro. She came and picked me up, and we broke the Camaro in, so to speak.
Mr. Brown, do you believe you are Genesis' biological father?
No, I do not. Miss Lever was involved with another individual that I saw with my eyes personally.
However, Genesis had Mr. Brown on her birth certificate.
As I look at this birth certificate, Genesis Summer Lyric Brown Lever.
And Jaira's supposed to be the opposite.
That's what you want.
That's not what I wanted.
So wait a minute, Miss Lever, you did give Genesis his last name.
Yes, ma'am. As I believe that he is her father, but it is a possible doubt. I was with someone else during the time.
Miss Lever straight up blurted that she wanted to be done with the man.
I am as well.
He needs to leave. He needs to go.
But it hurts my children.
I am miserable as hell. 8 years. I'm tired of this.
When I'm not working.
You ain't never working.
Your Honor.
So who works in this family?
Nobody. She don't work. She ain't never worked.
I get state assistance.
At the end of the day, you are the man and you living in my house and you need to work or leave.
He further told the court this.
I would never deny him the right to see his kids, but he has to be done in decency and in order, and he is out of order completely.
Genesis, Jaira, and most importantly, here to try to establish who their father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
They deserve to know that.
Let's see where it goes from here.
In the case of Brown versus Lever, as it pertains to Jaira Lever, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This sister wants a paternity answer from their mother, and they need Lakes' help.
Ms. Williams, you are here today with your two sisters because you say you're tired of being lied to by your mother, Ms. Liddell. You all claim she wasn't a good mother and say her promiscuous behavior is the reason you need the results of a paternity test today. Ms. Liddell, you admit you haven't been the best mother, but you say your daughters are being unfair.
Ms. Williams started with this testimony in the court.
I was always the outcast of me and my two sisters. I felt like ever since I was born, I've been lied to.
Tell me about the paternity issues.
It was this man who was supposedly had been my father. We were all wanting to know, like his family, him, my aunt that raised me and Jasmine, we wanted the paternity. We were all there and ready.
But Miss Little seemed clueless about her daughter's daddy issues.
That was never a paternity test, so I don't know where they're getting it from. One thing I tell you about my three daughters, they are manipulated. Just like me, they are liars. Just like me. It's the truth.
Like we're not even
it's
her
the
kids.
Truth. Yes. No, y'all talk to me like I'm not your mother.
Because you are not.
And I meant that.
Good.
And we're gonna keep it that way.
Okay, let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Keep it that way.
After this woman at the podium explained herself like this.
When I was about 17 years old, me and her had an argument, and she said, that's why he's not your father. Always eating at me, not knowing who my father was. Not knowing who my father was.
More like a daughter than he treats Lisa, but I feel that he treats Jamie more like a daughter than he treats me. Me and Jasmine went to go see her father because he was away.
But this pushed the really wrong button, and this chaos got loose.
Do for y'all. You done tried. Yes, sir. When I did try, when I did. No, you did. Wait a minute, y'all love me. When I can do something for y'all, then y'all always, then y'all stand in the back.
Ladies, let's get
irony was that Mommy had no idea how their father was. So even though she felt bad for her daughters, she was no help.
Do you know who her father is?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest. Jamie, no. Lisa, no. Jasmine, no. I'm not for sure if James is their father, if he's not their father. Because I was whorish. I did me. I ran the streets. Okay, you can keep your slab remarks. I was whorish. Yes,
Do you know who are the other people that could possibly be their father?
I have a couple of people in mind. Like I said, I ran the streets, so I laid down with Indy.
Now it was time to ask the alleged father what his take on the paternity dispute was.
You are these young girls' biological father. Do you believe that?
No, I do not.
What are your doubts based
don't believe he's your daddy?
I always had the doubt in my heart. When I met their mom, she was living the type of lifestyle as a party girl, fast girl. I caught her in the act. One time I caught her in the car with a guy.
Let's see if the result can put end to these sisters' confusion.
When it comes to Ms. Jasmine Williams, Mr. Williams, you are her father. When it comes to Ms. Lisa Williams, Mr. Williams, you are not her father. When it comes to Ms. Jamie Williams, Mr. Williams, you are not her father.
Thank you, James, for what you did for me. I hate you. I hate you.
Rumors have ruined Miss Bolijak's relationship and are also affecting her son.
Ms. Boliják, you say your 11-year relationship with the defendant, Mr. Davis, has been ruined by rumors of infidelity around the time you conceived your 14-month-old son, Messiah. You say the cheating rumors are nothing but lies, and the DNA test results will prove that he's Messiah's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
After initial testimonies came to the witness parade.
Who are you?
I'm Marquise's mother, and I don't believe he's the father.
Girl, I'm not gonna allow that on here.
Who are you, ma'am?
I'm my grandmother, and I truly believe that Marquise is not my grandbaby's father.
And ma'am, who are you?
Well, Your Honor, I'm her sister, and she knows he's not the father.
Okay, you may take a seat over there.
So the relationship is falling. Elaborate, miss.
Yes, this is causing a huge paternity issue
Your Honor,
in your
I'm
relationship.
I'm sorry. Her story is just not true.
It sure
I'm
is.
sorry. She admitted to us that she had a relationship with this other person.
She admitted to me. She told me that she had a relationship with this other guy.
The first witness, the defendant's mother, had this to say about their relationship.
All the time, it's always something about some infidelity, or she likes to post a lot of things on Facebook, so anything that happens in the house, it's on Facebook.
No, I don't.
About a week or so, she did. She went and stayed with one of her co-workers.
Sure did.
So I kind of found that fishy. The co-worker and her got pregnant at the same time.
Sure
so
did.
that made me
Sure
suspect of her. I kind of feel like that's where the baby came from.
While her own family added this to the testimony.
And she would stay for hours, and when she come back, her hair still looks like the same way it looked when he came, when she came back.
Wait, no, you think she was sleeping with this guy?
Yes. I brought it up. Everybody knows I don't care about bringing up nothing. So I brought it up, and she absolutely admitted to it. And she got upset when we said this boy looked just like this same guy.
Miss Bolajak denied the infidelity accusations.
Do you admit you slept with him?
No, I don't.
She was going over there all the time.
Ma'am.
No, I wasn't going over there all the time.
Her hair did.
Yes,
Her hair
ma'am.
would come back looking the same way it did when she left.
She would be gone
And
for
she'd be gone for
hours.
So she would say, I'm going to get my hair done,
Yeah.
and then come back and her hair wasn't done.
Right.
And then she would ask us. Then she would ask us if Marquise calls, let him know that I was here the whole time.
Mr. Davis, on the other hand, told he was sure about his girlfriend's swindling.
She went over there because I looked on her Snapchat. He got in the snap, and I'm like,
didn't get in
this who you been going on?
If it was, no, he didn't get in no snap because I got all them snaps saved
And
on my
I
phone.
saw
You
a
wanna
text
see?
message from him saying,
No, you didn't.
where you have my baby.
No, you he is lying.
The other Bolajaks testified that Mommy at the podium herself had confessed about the other guy being the father.
It's your testimony that your sister told you that
Yes.
this person asked you to have his baby.
Yes.
And so do you think she liked this person? Well, I mean, just so somebody says, I want to have you to have my baby, you don't agree?
She likes him.
She was liking that boy back, and she figured, she told me that since Marquise always stepping out on her and going out for 4 and 5 days in a row, she was gonna get him back because she feeling the dude too.
But wait, things are about to get more confusing.
One day, my best friend, I have a girl best friend, so I was going to our message and I saw her saying, keep your better girl code. And I'm like, what this supposed to mean? I went to it and she asking him to hook her up with somebody that goes to our son's school.
Yes, I sure did.
And she did hook up with him.
The guy, baby mother, hopped in my inbox and said she found condoms in the garbage can in the bedroom.
All of this was not about adults pointing fingers, but about children suffering from all of this.
This has been part entertaining, part annoying. It's annoying because nobody's really talking enough about Messiah, and he's 14 months old, and that's your baby. How has that been for 14 months?
At first I thought it was funny. It ain't so funny now, because I know who my baby's daddy is, but it ain't so funny. It's not funny. Look at my baby. Look, he is beautiful. He is handsome.
The only way out of this toxic cycle was the DNA result.
In the case of Bowley Jack versus Davis, when it comes to 14-month-old Messiah Davis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Davis, you are the father.
Where is the apology? Where is the apology?
But at the end of the day,
she did.
Stop talking. Oh, y'all just don't stop running your mouth.